my goodness. I wanted
All right, what's going on, guys? This is Own the Chaos. My name is Brad, where we talk everything OTCs, except for on Monday nights. I usually always try to have a familiar face or a millionaire on for my millionaire podcast. And tonight we have a familiar face, and his name is Ricky Gutierrez. If you guys are part of our TechBuds community, obviously you will know who he is. But I thought maybe we'd have a little bit more of a personal conversation with Ricky than we probably normally do, either within his live videos or even mine. And we're just going to take it away. So what's going on, Ricky?
going on, brother. How you doing?
Good. This is kind of weird because,
I
don't know. It's just weird for some reason.
I know. So
But go ahead.
I speak to Brad on a almost daily or every other day basis. He sends me beautiful good morning texts, and
Well, I always make sure you're tucked in at night too. So, so as if you guys this is your first podcast for my Millionaire Mondays, what we usually do is I just kind of like have a casual conversation with any one of our millionaires, just to kind of provide any kind of inspiration or motivation for those of you who don't think that, I don't know, that millionaire status or that kind of success is achievable in your life. And what I want to do is kind of shed some light for you to let you know that it is possible. And there's all kinds of different ways to do that, which is why we have this podcast. If you have seen my previous ones, they come from all different walks of life, and Ricky's no exception to that. So, what we usually do is just kind of, like I said, have a conversation, and towards the end of the video, we have like a Q&A. So if you guys are listening in, welcome. And then if you have any questions, of course, go ahead and ask away. I would like to try to steer away from the stock questions, since we get asked those questions all the time. This is more of kind of like a personal type of conversation, and, moreover on like, maybe just kind of, what is your day like? What's the day in the life of a millionaire, and what habits do you have, and that sort of thing. So, Ricky, I think where we should start is, kind of like how you got started. What's your background? And for those of you for those people who might not know actually who you are.
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm 23 years old as of now, and I was able to hit like there's like this like. For those that don't know who it is that I am, my name's Ricky. I'm 23 years old. I make YouTube videos as like, kind of like a side thing. I kind of upload daily now, right? Just like Brad. But one thing that has really acted as a catalyst for my success has been like this like networking group that we created for free, right? Starting from like the very beginning, if you guys, is that where you would like me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I first got introduced to business and kind of in that perspective at a very young age. So something that I love, something that I say all the time is like, I'm full Mexican, right? So I grew up at a very early age with my father. I remember being in elementary school, and every weekend, just for those that can relate, I would go to work with him, and he would make me work on the weekend. So we'd have to wake up at like, it was horrible. I don't know, like 4 or 5 a.m. I'd get in his like really nasty white Astro van. He was someone that put down like tile, right? So he would do tile work, and he would literally just take me to hold the tile and then hand it to him. Like the purpose of me actually being there was none. It was mainly just to teach me like the ropes on like kind of like how hard work can play out and stuff like that, and why it's so important to stay in school. He did just fine. Like, it was his business. He loved what it is that he did. Like, I knew he had an extreme passion for it because every time that we would go and he would give quotes and stuff like that, he just like fell in love with like the whole like atmosphere of working with people, making them happy, seeing how he has like an emotional impact on them with the overall understanding of just like the tile that he would lay down and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. But in reality, when it came down to like me actually wanting to do that for the rest of my life, 100% was something that I did not want to pursue. So at around 14, that's kind of where it all got started. That's when I started my first company. I've talked about it before. It was like a tech deck company. So it was fingerboards, right? So I started with my friends. But one thing that I've noticed about myself that I tend to like just do a little bit better than usually the people around me is that I'm very consistent and that I don't give up. And when I started my first fingerboard company, I was making these fingerboards. I would post them online for sale. I was making YouTube videos, and I actually grew that YouTube channel to a little bit over 3,000 subscribers. And I thought that was really cool. I was making literally like videos of me skateboarding and then me like fingerboarding with like the little thing. So it was like a very niche specific kind of market. That's what kind of got me exposed to my first type of. That's what kind of got me exposed to the first actual market of like just creating something and then being able to sell it and then people seeing value in that. And then my following business was I did online sales with my cousin, and we did on eBay and Amazon, if you guys have ever done anything like that. So we were like eBay super sellers when that was a really big thing. And then I had a account that I opened. In reality, when I really started learning to trade, it was when I had that simulation trading account. And that's kind of what got the ball rolling in that perspective. And I've shared a little bit of my story like on YouTube in a little bit more detail, but to give you like a just like what really like acted as a catalyst to get me to the like Brad, you know me, I'm very boring. I feel like
this is true. Ricky's like in Ricky's normal world. The dork that you see on YouTube, it's the same dork that you see in real life.
It's like if you guys know anything about me, I'm very other than my cars, right? Because people like, okay, well, obviously he likes spending a lot of money. No, my cars are forms of investments. My houses are forms of investments. When it comes down to the clothes that I wear, I wear like $5-10 shirts, pants, or everything. Everything is very. My Janowskis, I wear them for about 1 or 2 years.
He only has 3 towels in his house, by the way.
I have 4 now, Brad, just because of you. Yeah, I mean, if you guys would come over, you guys like any of us, like everyone at my house, like we do pretty well. And I have the 2 houses side by side one another, and we do very well for our age. And you would not assume that we do what it is that we actually make. And the reason why I think is because we don't need everything. The beautiful thing about what it is that I've been able to achieve is that now I understand the importance of team, and that has to do to my partner Justin. Justin was a huge catalyst, or is a huge catalyst for my success from when he made the decision to move on over and actually assist me with a series of different projects when it comes down to time management. So if you're someone that has a lot of ideas and is very creative, but struggles to actually properly take action, then having someone that's very structured and organized, someone like Justin, we make a good duo, right? And ever since he's been here, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I mean, I've had nearly $500,000 months, and to be able to say that the sole reason for that has to be because of Justin, because he helps me manage the series of other businesses and projects that we have going on as well. And even when it comes down to like, me and Brad are working on a series of different things as well. And it would not be possible. It would not be as effective and efficient if it was not for Justin. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I guess I kind of want to backtrack a little bit because, I mean, I know you talked about like the steps that you took to where you got to where you are now, but I kind of want to go back to the beginning, not so much to the beginning, but like that work ethic that you have started with your dad, right? I mean, even though it sucked and even though it was, tile work, there was some sort of ethic that was imprinted in you at such an early age that's also led to your success.
Yeah.
So, I just, I think stuff like that, that's early on. What the heck's going on? Oh, hold on a second. There's people saying that the stream's not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you're not lagging at all for me.
Must be you, bro.
It must be. Hold on, guys. Bear with me 1 sec. Let me see here.
Maybe it's my audio quality. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Maybe it's my audio quality.
No, I mean, you're not lagging on mine. I don't know.
Maybe it's
we'll just keep going. We'll just keep going. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I think, when it comes to like, and I can speak for myself too, like just from like when I was a younger person, all of the work ethic that I have now came from how I was brought up. And I think that translates to where you are now. So like, and I thought it was interesting that you put up, that I saw on Facebook that you just put up not too long ago about like, your sleep habits and that sort of thing. So like, you said you only sleep like 4 to 5 hours a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, how has that helped you? I mean, because I can't function on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I'm going to be honest with you. I just can't do
Yeah.
it.
I freaking love it. First of all, I have to admit, like, I love sleep, right? If there's, when people like, when I like date girls and like, hey, what do you do for fun? I'm like, oh, I sleep. Like, that's like what I do for fun, because like anytime if I have any free time, that's the first thing that I want to do. Fortunately, I live like a very like blessed life where I wake up at like, 5:30 or 6 a.m. in the morning. I absolutely love what it is I do. I come downstairs, I turn on my computer, I work with my private group. I go live. I have a series of things that I have to do for the next 5 hours at that period. I go grab lunch. I come back. I work on a series of different projects with Justin, and we're killing it till like 5 o'clock. We take another break. We hang out, and you just have to think like I'm fully like obsessed with what it is that I do. Like the whole team that I live with, my roommates, and not just this house, but we own the house right next door, and those guys, we are all pursuing what it is that we love. So just imagine surrounding yourself and just being flooded by people that are pursuing everything that they love every single day. And that is something like, anytime that I have a bad day, Justin is there to remind me that like, hey, we're absolutely killing it. Don't let this bad day discourage you. And the same thing vice versa. Like I hold Justin accountable. And one of the biggest recommendations that I would have for someone is to find someone that's more motivated than you, if not the same, that can get you to a point where you're going to continue to improve. You're like, it's like the whole point of Techbuds-Solutions, right? To surround yourself with like-minded individuals and stuff like that. But it's very different to actually have that in-person experience, right? Like yourself,
like the common, mentor, right? Yeah, I mean, I think the common denominator so far in all these interviews that I've had so far is the power of networking. Mm-hmm. And like, I just quit my job, and I wouldn't have been able to do that. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't surround myself around the right people as well. That, and you're included in that. It's not just any one person. It's surrounding yourself by a multitude of people. And I think that's one of the best parts about TechBuds as well, because I've met so many different people within the community itself that it's allowed me to create my own brand as well within TechBuds. And I think that's one of the best parts about what you've created.
It's something that I think like, man, because it's very like it's a series of different things that will assist you. Like I could not have imagined that my life would have turned out the way that it did, exactly step by step. Every single decision that I made when it came down to making the decision to move out to Arizona, to then go to ASU Polytechnic. I was dating my ex-girlfriend, right? And then to purchase this house. And this exact location, I was able to purchase the house next door, which then allowed Justin. Actually, I met Justin on my way to visit my ex-girlfriend at the university that she went to. And I was driving my GTR, and Justin followed me and then direct messaged me. Just think about that. The series of events that had to happen for all of this to kind of rely with one another. The thing that I've noticed from the people that really actually motivate me and encourage me to do better, like my team, the people that I keep very close, they hold me accountable, they are very consistent, and they don't give up. 3 things. And ask yourself, have you ever failed in something by being consistent, not giving up, and then having a passion for it? So just think about if it was like a physique or like going to the gym or something like that, right? Wanted to lose, a certain weight. You wanted to get a certain job. You wanted to work towards a certain degree. Everything, it's all about that consistency. And that's something that I've talked about multiple times when it comes down to trading. It's like, it's going to take time, and sometimes it's shorter for others. So there's no exact time frame. But when it comes down to achieving success in anything, if it comes down to starting your own business, there's so many, like you don't have to reinvent the wheel anymore, especially for a lot of these markets that are out there. You see what someone has created, you learn the steps, you don't give up, you do it on a consistent basis, you put your own twist to it, and you let your passion drive you until you make it. And sometimes it might take 1 year, sometimes it might take 10, 20, but if you are consistent and you love what it is that you do every single morning, then great. It does not make sense to me why I've been blessed with so much. All I know is that now, because of this blessing, now I want to make sure that the people that I see value in, Brad, my team, the people that I connect that I interlock myself with, and the Techbuds-Solutions community, I'm going to use what it is that I've created for myself and uplift everyone else. We're working on the Techbuds-Solutions headquarters, right? So people can come in, dock up their computer, and trade live with me and the team. We're going to be working on software companies, development companies, so we can help other people create their own applications, create their own businesses, and then have more guidance in that perspective. It's literally just providing solutions for ones that you've struggled with yourself. So you work as hard as you can. You do what it is that you love every single time. And sometimes, unfortunately, not even unfortunately, like I had a day job, right? And I loved it because I loved interacting with people, and I'm behind a computer all day. But one thing that I loved was when I went to work, I tried to be the best every single time. I was in telecommunication sales, right? When I worked for T-Mobile, I was the number 3rd rep in the entire country. And I was like 19. And I was working part-time. I was making anywhere from $55,000 to $60,000 a year. Now, when it came down to working at Verizon, right? I don't know if I've ever said that that was like the location that I worked at, but I was able to make anywhere from $60,000 to $65,000 a year, working 25 hours, Brad, 25 hours a week, because I was the number 1 sales rep in my district. And it's just like, with all that capital, just think about this, Brad, $65,000 to supplement my trading income, to supplement my businesses, to qualify for homes. That's $65,000. If there, I think I don't know if I talked to you about it, but someone asked me, like, if you were ever to write a book, what would it be? And I would call it the golden number, the golden 45. The reason why is after $45,000, if you can keep your expenses low and you can save a lot of that money, it will help you qualify for a house. It can help you qualify and fund any business opportunity that you might see in the future. And that is where the exposure happens. If you're smart with what it is that you have, if I were to make $45,000, if I were to start from scratch, I would be 18 years old and I would start from scratch, start $45,000. I bet you that I'd be able to get to $1 million quicker than I ever have before. Because
I think also too is like, is not going into debt either. That's the other big thing, right? Like, don't go out and finance some big expensive car. Don't I don't know, don't open up a bunch of credit cards. Like I know people that are 18 that have opened up 3, 4, 5 credit cards, and they have like $15,000 in credit card debt, and they have no idea how they're going to be paying that off anytime soon.
It's just being not even like you don't like. I honestly do not think I'm a smart person. I swear I'm very consistent and very determined with everything that I've done. All I do is dedicate time to learn about the markets that I'm invested in. I just want to be more aware than the average person. That's all.
Right. And I think there's and it's with me too. People think that you just know everything. Right. And so like when they ask, and I don't know about you, but when they come and ask you questions, but sometimes they ask me questions that I'm just like, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and research that. Yeah. And I think because, we do offer something that's valuable. I think sometimes it gets misconstrued as that we know everything there is to know about whatever market we're in. Correct. And so we're constantly learning, just like you folks at home are constantly learning. Like it's just that we've maybe been doing it a little bit longer than you have, or have dedicated a lot more time than you have at this point in your trading career or whatever. And so the idea is to eventually get you to a point to where we're at one day down the road. Once and that's the service that we provide. And you'll see this later on. Ricky actually sent Justin a video about quitting my job. But yeah. Like Peter told me, the last millionaire I had on here, he by the way started 13 companies and only 2 of them worked out. Yep. He sold them one for 7 figures and the other one for 8. And his next goal is to sell the next one for 9 figures. So it's like, it's like you said, the whole consistency thing. But like the one thing that he said that really resonated with me was to do what you love, and then create a service out of whatever it is that you love, so that you can be serving others and doing what you love and getting paid to do it. And I thought like that was awesome. And that's 100% what we're doing right now. Like you love whatever it is. And that's going to change too, right? Because like you didn't start off trading ETFs and that's what you've learned to be really good at, but you start off with penny stocks and whatever else, and it's kind of evolved into what it is right now.
Correct. The biggest thing is like, again, not giving up, because you tend to like, life is always changing, right? And as I took on like my private group for my course group and stuff like that, I was just like, wow, I'm dedicating a lot of time to helping these people. I really don't want to invest that much time to always have to try to find that one low cap stock that's going to make it for me. So I made a transition, right? I pivoted and I started focusing on something that was a little bit more consistent. And I worked on just the consistency factor. I saw that a lot of people had a difficult time to understand patterns, to understand volatility, to understand momentum. So I was just like, forget it. you know, I know people want to like the get rich quick and stuff like that. And I know you can do that with lower cap stocks at a much quicker pace, but you could also lose much more money at a much quicker pace. So what we set up was, let's focus on consistency. Let's just focus on getting the ball rolling. And once I teach everyone the fundamentals and the basics, then we can branch off to momentum trading. Then we can branch off to long-term trading. And then, you know, there's a lot more branches than you can build for yourself at that period. But just like anything in life, once you formulate a business and once you establish some form of product or service that works well for you, times are always changing, right? And you note this with like any software or any platform or product that you ever use. They're always updating it to stay relevant. And that's where that consistency factor and the always learning, right, to stay relevant comes in. Because Brad, just like you and just like me, if we don't want to learn from anybody else and we just continue to provide our service, there will be someone that will always be open to learning more than us. And if they are open to learning more than us, then they will eventually outweigh and beat us, right? And then they will provide maybe a better service that's more ideal for the traders at that certain period. And that's why it's so effective in whatever market, in whatever niche. If you see value in something, it's not like I've been making a lot of videos about start paper trading, encouraging people to start not investing real money, but to start paper trading. And the reason that I find that so effective is that that's where I believed I learned so much. No monetary risk and all real world experience. Very simple. If you've ever wanted to get started in investing in the stock market, there is no better time because there is no monetary risk. It is absolutely free, right? And how amazing is that? Just like with a lot of businesses that are out there, if you see value in a certain business or in a certain niche, then start asking questions on how maybe you can intern, how maybe you can assist those individuals, how maybe you can, you know, provide value for those businesses so you can learn more about it and then create your own. Again,
that's actually like how we kind of met back in the day, like back in the GroupMe days when you first started. I think when I first came on, you only had like, I don't know, less than 20,000 subscribers or something. But we were in GroupMe and I actually built, and it was through MarketWatch. It was a paper trading MarketWatch like ranking system where you would start off with like fake money, just like paper trading. And that kind of started off. And then I ended up, and I think the one thing that made a name for myself in the group was I had traded AMLH and it went from like, I don't know, some low double zero stock, well over a penny. And then people started being like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to hear about this. But then, you know, eventually you were kind of like, maybe you should have your own chat. So then we had our own chat and then it just kind of like grew out from there.
The idea that like money talks, right? And it's like regardless of, and this is actually like a huge, like there's a huge negative connotation I think that we could really talk about when it comes down to OTC stocks. Just like right now, there's a huge negative connotation when it comes down to crypto. Does that mean that you can't make money in crypto right now? Does that mean that you can't make money in, you know, OTCs? No, it just means that there's a specific style and certain maybe techniques and steps that you need to take that have, you know, led to your success, and that's why you're leading that group. If you don't see value in it, then great, you simply don't have to invest in it. But you'll see a lot of people, and not only in this video, but in a series of other videos, when I talk about my experience in achieving a form of success that to them might seem outrageous because they weren't able to achieve it, they're going to hate, right? And that's all part of the game, right? And regardless of what it is that someone else believes, if it's someone in your life that is saying, no, you can't achieve that form of success, if you see other people doing it, all you have to ask yourself is you know, like, what is it that they're doing that you aren't doing already? And is it something that you can make a habit? That I think that's really all it is. Everything that I've done on waking up and relying on like, you know, 3 to 5 hours of sleep every single day, it's a habit. I didn't just like randomly one day feel okay. I mean, sometimes like today, I ran on 2 hours of sleep because of my flight from California to AZ, and then I had to take another 2-hour nap. Like, you know, there's still a series of things that I have to do to stay on track, and it's still difficult for me from time to time, especially because I'm young and, you know, I'm with roommates, and sometimes they like to stay up very late to like 2 or 3 a.m. as well. And but that's all part of it. Like, I love what it is that I do because I surround myself with so many motivated people and that hold me accountable and that are always pushing me to do better. So if you don't have that community aspect around you, then you want to look around, ask yourself who it is that you're surrounding yourself with, and can that change? It's not going to be just in one day. I mean, it can be, but realistically, no. You're going to have to try to nitpick these people. You're going to go through a lot of friends that are, you know, dingleberries, and eventually you will find someone that is so much like you and that motivates you and that is maybe so much better than you that you want to be alike. And that is when you stick with that individual, because then you will provide value and motivation for them, and you guys will, go back and forth with one another. And that's the whole goal.
I mean, and I agree with you. It's all about the accountability, right? Because you got people that are around you right now that are expecting you and holding you up to this standard. And if you're not meeting that standard, they're going to make sure that they're going to be kicking you in the butt to bring you back to where you need to be. Whereas like if you're by yourself, there's that lack of, I guess, motivation, because there's nobody there to, like, I don't want to say hold your hand, because nobody needs to hold your hand, but like, there's just like that, I don't know. It's kind of like going to the gym with a buddy. It's like you're trying to see who can outdo the other guy. You know what I mean? And there's that, I don't know, slight competition, or just like that, like I said, that accountability that you have when you surround yourself around people that want to see you succeed as much as you do.
And the easiest way that I can put it is, I was in awe when I broke like the 6-figure mark, right? That was the most amazing feeling. Like I worked so hard to like get to that point, and that was amazing. Now, I mean, I break multiple 6 figures within a monthly period, right? And what I love about what it is that I do is that I can't say it's not even about the dollar value anymore, but it's that competitive factor that, like, Justin partnered up with another individual, and they started like this like software company where they're going to do that, right? And when I saw that, I was just like, if Justin starts making as much as I do, that's going to be an issue. And it drives me to work that much harder. It's true, right? It's like,
Justin has more Ferraris in his garage than you do, it's going to make you angry.
It's not even the idea of like the dollar value. It's more of like he's doing something that is going to provide more value for other people, and I'm not okay with that. So I'm going to work as hard as I can. I will not sleep if I have to. And I will do everything that is that I can and establish every partnership that I can to then beat him. And then he will do the same to beat me. They're like my overall, like the people that I surround myself with are doing a lot better. They're talking about, oh, I'm going to buy a CTSV, I'm going to buy a GTR and stuff like that. I'm like, what the heck? They're all catching up. I was like, dang, I need to buy like a P1 or a LaFerrari or something like that. It's like, it's irrelevant, right?
But it's different though. Like, it's not so much as like, we should probably clear that up, is that it's not like a cutthroat kind of thing. It's just like a friendly competition. Like, and I can speak for you as well within the house, just because I've been there. Like, everybody's just kind of rooting for everybody. Nobody's like actually trying to be like, oh, I can't believe that guy's doing better than me. It's just like I don't know how else, you know what I mean?
I was, when I heard that they were doing that, I was just like, that is so freaking cool. Like that is so cool, and I want my own. So then I established my own partnership with Mackenzie, who's one of our developers now, and that's a business that we're working on. Luckily, Justin's partnered in that one too, so I mean, he gets to be a part of that, right? But it's literally like, once you get into the routine of just doing what it is that you love, working your day job, doing that routine, right? Doing what it is that you love on a consistent basis, not giving up and overcoming all these hesitations. I love the game. And I love the obstacles, because I know when I overcome them, it feels amazing. A great example that a lot of people can relate to is like finals week. And when you have all these different assignments and exams that are becoming, that are just like thrown at you. I love being stressed out. And I deal with stress at a very, I think, just like professional way, that when a lot of things and a lot of different projects are thrown at me, when it came down to like, I don't think I've ever explained this. Yeah. So although I'm very conservative, I can put a lot on the line. I had the McLaren MP412C. I invest in different things, right? I invested in a company. I recently bought 2 condos, so I was fully liquid in that. I had the Corvette, the McLaren, and then I had one other car. I literally had I could not go 1 month. I could not go 2 months with the amount of money that I had in my bank after I was so liquid. And the reason why was because of how aggressive I went with all these forms of investments, because I had to pay everything cash. And then I was flipping the McLaren, I was flipping the condos, I was renting out the condos, and I was flipping every other car. And it's that approach of understanding it. I mean, I didn't go in dumb and just be like, okay, I'm going to buy this McLaren and hope that I can flip it. I understood that market. I didn't go in with the condo just like, oh, it kind of looks like a good deal, I'll flip it. I knew the margins were there. I understood the market. And I was so aggressive with that approach that once I started selling everything, receiving the checks of like the couple $100,000 from like the condos, and then receiving the check from like the McLaren and stuff like that, and then just getting everything going, that feeling when you're just like, dude, I am like unstoppable. Like I can use all that money and then I can start flipping other stuff. Right. And
you
then
just constantly reinvest. You just constantly, and that's how all businesses, well, I would say most businesses become successes, is that like, you don't pay yourself first. You're the last one that gets paid, and you just keep whatever you're making. You're constantly reinvesting, and that's the success that I found in trading. Is that like when I started trading, none of my profits went to me. It all just stayed where it was at, and I was constantly reinvesting all of it into whatever stock that I was following next. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to sell this profit. I'm going to buy the next one. And then I'm going to sell this profit. I'm going to buy the next one.
The power of compound.
Exactly. And it's not just with stocks though. It's with all aspects of life, especially when it comes to business and in particular, when it comes to like real estate and flipping cars and that sort of thing. You're always using that money that you're making to buy the next thing to work on. So that keep that snowball rolling.
Definitely. So, I mean, I feel like we talked about a lot of different things, a lot of different niches that I've invested in, and where I've seen some form of success. I think that could be also very overwhelming. It really has to, like, what I really want to focus on, and it's very simple, and it's the simple things that I think a lot of people lack with. Very quick example, when you're like, getting out of debt and stuff like that. Like, why do people spend more money than they make? I don't know. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. It's not a smart move. And unfortunately, I believe it's like 75% of Americans are under that, rule.
They're living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. 75% of Americans.
There's nothing wrong with that if you're in that current state, but it's what you're going to do to get out of that. So first of all, if you want to be successful, you need to make sure that you're stable first, right? And then that you can build off of that. At least in my opinion, I'm very conservative, and that's an approach that I took. I had a very stable income, right? And I built off of that. I continued to spread my eggs in different places that brought me more revenue, right? So the 3 tips that I would have for someone that is just getting started, first of all, is find a niche. And this is going to take time, and it's not going to be right away, but find a niche and don't be closed-minded about any market. If it's, obviously we'd love to have you in the stock market, right? With the OTCs and stuff like that. But I'm not here to limit anyone. If you see opportunity in Forex, in cryptocurrency, if you see opportunity in wholesaling, regardless of what it is, any market, understand that it's going to take time to learn about that market. But if you're passionate about it, learn new things on a small period of time. So 20, 30 minutes every single day. Don't overwhelm yourself. Even with my videos, this is something that I would encourage people to do. Don't drown yourself with mine and Brad videos. Like it's overwhelming. It's a lot of information. You're going to go in very aggressively, and then you're probably not going to make it in the first couple of first couple of weeks, and then you're going to get discouraged. Learn to have goals and then to have sub goals, right? So have a yearly goal and then have also weekly and monthly goals, and then work towards them. If it's about learning something new and then testing the waters, if you're something that you're passionate about it, continue doing it, and then based on my experience, another opportunity will present itself that then you, because of your experience of being so involved and just what's that word that I want to use? Whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Obsessed, right? That you're obsessed with the game of the market that you're investing in, that you just can't stop on a consistent basis. You're always learning new things at a small period of time. And at a certain point, you're going to learn so much because of this consistency factor that it's going to work for you. And if that market doesn't work for you, you've learned so much about this market that then you can use that knowledge into other markets. Very simple, right? The second thing that I would encourage you to do is to find someone that actually motivates you. And this is going to be very difficult because you're going to have to see if you guys work hand in hand with one another. Or it's kind of like a mentor, right? But not even just a mentor. It could be someone your age that just motivates you to not give up. And if you can find that, for me, it took from when I was 14, from when I first started till, Justin, when did I meet you? 21? It had to be when I was 21. And not even then, it was like 22, because that's when we really partnered up together. So it took me that long to find someone that I worked with very well. So understand that it's going to take time. But now, because you know that this is an effective strategy, you can start the hunt. You can start the hunt now. So set that goal, find someone that motivates you and can actually, act as a catalyst for your success. And then the last
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, I forgot you had the third one.
No, you're like, shut up, Ricky. And the last thing would be is we talked about the consistency. We talked about having the mentor. The last thing would be is it has to be something that you love, having that passion for it, right? Because if it's not something that you're passionate about, the money can be great and all, but at a certain point, based on my experience and the people that I have lost in my life because of the obsession that I have with my work, it's if I was not in love with what it is that I did every single day, it would not have been worth it. But I know what the decisions that I've made and the people that I, had to give up at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it due to the overall positive impact that I can have in the, not just hundreds of thousands of people, but in my honest opinion, in the millions of people. And that's why my team and the people that I choose to surround myself with are people that I truly believe in, because I know I have so much skin in the game that I need this. I'm going to make this. I don't need or nor deserve anything. I'm going to make it work for me. And I know that's just the type of individual that I am. And if you guys have seen, when it comes down to like my videos, I upload almost every single day, twice a day, a very consistent basis. Do I need the money that I make off of YouTube? Heck no. I do it because it's the principle of what I made for myself, right? Of providing free content for the masses on a consistent basis. What's my goal for TechBuds, right? Providing free tools and resources that we're going to develop, that we're going to provide for the masses. Everything is that we're going to be doing, right? It's from the very beginning. But I knew that from the very beginning, I had a passion for this. I loved assisting people. And just like everyone else, I'm human. I get pissed sometimes, right? I get upset, especially with the dingleberry questions that we get from time to time. But I know that because I'm so passionate about what it is that I do, there's no question that I think that I can beat everyone in the current market that I'm challenged against with, or that I'm going against, just because of the team that I have and how relevant we are and how passionate we are. And I think the passion outweighs the dollar that you make. Luckily,
and like just to your point, and I think we've kind of broken into something, Ricky, that I've seen personally, but I don't think that a lot of people have seen, through YouTube, because it's almost as if it's so business focused that sometimes and you have like videos here and there about talking about like how passionate you are. But like one thing that you and I have had multiple conversations with in person is that neither one of us have to do what we're doing with YouTube and just with Techbuds-Solutions as a whole to keep living.
Correct.
Like and the conversations that we've had is that like we just have this passion to create a positive change in somebody's life, whether it's to get them to quit their second job because they're living paycheck to paycheck so they can spend more time with their family, or maybe they want to go on vacation or whatever so they can, I don't know, spend more time with their family. So like that is for me. And I get messages from people all the time that, one that resonates for me. I don't know why it always sticks in my head, but like somebody reached out to me because I was able to help them afford a plane ticket to fly their family home for the holidays. And it was back in December. And for whatever reason, that really touched me and like gave me the motivation and I guess the confirmation that what I'm doing is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. And the monetary reward, especially in the market that we invest in, like we're blessed to have and be actively investing in a market that pays well, right? But if it was like for myself, something that like paid me like $100,000 a year, right? That's still a large amount of money still, but it's not to the ordeal that we're making now. I would still be okay with it. Like I'd still be happy. I'd still love what it is that I do. I'd still wake up every single morning, extremely happy with my neck pillow, going live and eating canes and just doing what it is that I love, because like we kick butt and it's just, we do what we love and we're good at it and we make money doing it and we help and motivate other people. And we're a positive impact. And I think I just reached a little bit over 7.2 million watch minutes every 28 days on YouTube. And that correlates over, if I'm not mistaken, to a little bit over 14 years of time. And to think that I produce that much of value, I find time very valuable, and that I provide that much time value for people. It's just a reassuring confirmation that I'm doing something right. Same thing with the overall like views that I get. I know it's not a lot for, you know, big YouTubers and stuff like that, but you have to understand the market that we invest in, and, you know, the very like business kind of like financial like niche. We reach over 1 million people every 28 days as well. That's huge.
Yeah,
And
it's massive. It's massive.
It's we're reaching a large audience of people, and I truly do believe we're having a positive impact. You know, there'll always be people that are going to try to bring us down, that will try to point out like flaws, right? And that those are, when they point out flaws, I honestly love when someone actually gives me like criticism with what it is that I do. I actually take it into consideration on how I can improve, you know, my overall system. If they say like, hey, Ricky, like in the very beginning, it's like, why don't you show your profits? After I started showing my profits, like, you know, first of all, like we have the course, right? And like, oh, Ricky doesn't show his profits, it's not real and stuff like that. After I started showing my profits, I didn't know why it was relevant for people to care how much money it is that I made. It's not benefiting them. But after I started showing my profits, thank you for all those that told me to show my profits, because my sales went 10x. Just, you know, just to slap you in the face, right? For all the haters that continue to remind me what it is that I need to do better to provide more value for people. And that's what it's all about. If you can take criticism, if you can continue to do what it is that you love on a consistent basis, and if you have a passion for it, it's amazing. And there's always going to be rough times. There's always going to be points where you're going to want to give up. And that is why you need to surround yourself with people that will always uplift you and remind you why you started this. Because, you know, there's periods where, right, that we've been upset with one another, and just like any people that are partnered, right?
Yeah.
And then we're just here to remind one another that, hey, like, let's, you know, just, again, let's stay focused on what the big picture plan is, and let's go from there. And it's just, you know, we just need that reoccurring like reminder from time to time, because we're human. And my story and my success story is not going to be exactly like so-and-so that is watching. But what I can encourage you to do is these series of steps that are no secrets, nothing like that. It's just, it's just very simple steps that are going to take time, sometimes longer for other people, but they will eventually get you, and you will feel successful because you will feel fulfilled, because you're doing something that you love with people that you love, and you're having, you know, an impact on, you know, a good number of people. So
yeah. And that's just the culture we've built. You know, everybody's willing to help the next guy, and you know, if they're not, then we kindly remove those people. But I think that's I guess kind of the X factor that we provide in Techbuds. But we've kind of been going on for a while. But I just wanted to answer one question, or have you answer one question. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Me?
Yeah. Somebody asked that. Somebody asked, how would you describe yourself in one word?
I was gonna say dingleberry, but I don't feel like
I mean, that's how I would describe you.
Yeah. That's just consistent. I'm not the best at anything it is that I do, but I just think in general, I'm very consistent, and even with things that I'm bad at in the beginning, because of my consistency and my willingness to not give up, I tend to do better than a lot of people in almost everything it is that I choose to pursue. But it's just because I know that with time and with that consistency factor, I will get there. So I just got a refund for $175 for one of the condos that I just sold. So I'm pretty pumped on that. I'm going to go buy some canes.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I think we can go ahead and end it with that. So everybody, I just want to let Ricky know, thank you from me personally. This is kind of like actually a short notice setup, because the one millionaire that I had for today kind of bailed on me, but Ricky was kind enough to step in his busy schedule. I actually woke him up like 20 minutes before he came on, because he was sleeping. But you know, I do appreciate you coming on. You know, the whole purpose of this obviously is just to provide inspiration, and what more of a perfect example than from someone that we all are pretty close to. So I do appreciate that, guys. If you are new to my channel, obviously welcome. And if you enjoyed this, I'm trying to make this an every Monday thing. So far, it's kind of been every other until I get some more traction with it. But I think it's going to be a pretty good success once we start to get more consistent, as Ricky likes.
Yeah. And then also if you guys have any tips on what you guys would like to see, or certain things that would like to be covered, I think feedback from them, like maybe in the comment section or something,
absolutely,
to direct message you. Feel free to, all of you, direct message Brad. Just tell him how much it is that you love him. No, but if you guys want to give like some just comments on maybe what you would like to see based on the future people that he interviews, just, you know, again, he's making these videos for you. So I'm sure, you know, that can go hand in hand with one another.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that. And if you like this video, obviously smash that like button. And I will see you guys all before the bell. And as always, B Smith is out. Take care, team.
Later, brother.